Okay. Shalom, family. The soul food topic on tonight is the 10 Commandments. This will be the final part, part 7. All right, before we get into them, I'm just going to read off the 10 Commandments. Number 1, have no other God before the Most High. Number 2, make no graven image before the Most High. 3, to take not the name of the Most High in vain. 4, to remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 5, to honor thy mother and father. 6, that we should not kill. 7, that we should not commit adultery. 8, that we should not steal. 9, we should not bear false witness against our neighbor. And 10, we should not covet. We're going to deal with the last 3 and wrap up the 10 Commandments. So we've been bringing out the fact, not the assumption or the belief, but the fact that Yahawashi and the apostles kept the commandments of Moses and taught their disciples to keep the commandment of Moses. All right, you got the 5 parts. You got the moral, civic, dietary, ceremonial, and animal sacrifice. Those 5 aspects of the Mosaic law. Yahawashi fulfilled the 5th part, all right, of animal sacrifice. That's in that we believe on him for the atonement of our sins. But the other 4 parts of the Mosaic law are to be kept. All right, so we're going to deal with not stealing, not bearing false witness against a neighbor, and not coveting. All right.
Is that 8?
Yeah, 8, 9, and 10. So with not stealing, we're going to start in Luke chapter 18, verse 20. I'll have you go there. Luke chapter 18, verse 20.
Okay, Luke 18 and 20. Thou knowest the commandments. Do not commit adultery. Do not kill. Do not steal. Do not bear false witness. Honor thy father and thy mother.
So this is when the rich ruler came to Yahawashi and asked him, good master, what must I do to inherit eternal life? And Yahawashi said, keep the commandments. And then he listed them. He said, which ones? He listed the 10 commandments. Now, he didn't list all of them. All right. And there was a reason why he listed those. Okay. Because these deal with how you treat your brother. Because he taught and reiterated time and time again throughout the New Testament to his disciples, the scribes and Pharisees, whoever were his audience. The greatest commandment is to love the Most High God with all your heart, with all your mind, with all your soul. The second is like unto the first, to love your neighbor as yourself. So these commandments that he's giving to this rich ruler pertains more to that second commandment. How you treat your parents, how you're supposed to walk upright and do the will of the Most High, and how you're supposed to treat your neighbor. Okay? This is what he's telling them. But in here, he's saying not to steal. Yahawashi is reciting Moses. He's reciting Exodus 20 right here in the book of Luke. So how in the world can Christians say we're not supposed to keep the law? When Jesus, right here in the book of Luke, is saying, in order to inherit eternal life, you must keep the commandments. Which ones? And then he reads off the very ones Moses recited thousands of years prior. Okay? From there, we're going to move on to Ephesians chapter 4, verses 25 through 28, to teach that the apostles as well taught to keep the commandments. Ephesians chapter 4, verses 25 through 28.
Okay, Ephesians chapter 4, 25 through 28. Wherefore, putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor, for we are members one of another.
Salakia, now the 9th commandment is not to bear false witness against thy neighbor. That deals with lying. All right. And even where we just read in Luke, he said, not to bear false witness, not to commit adultery, not to kill, all of the commandments we already mentioned. All right. Here, he starts off by saying that, what does it say again here? Wherefore, putting away lying, speak every man truth with his neighbor. Defraud not thy neighbor. Lie not to thy neighbor. These are things that Moses commanded the children of Israel. Okay? So the 9th commandment is to not bear false witness. And that's tied in with stealing, because those things are one and the same. If you're stealing from your brother, usually it's because you have a deceitful heart, a lying spirit on you. I feel like Proverbs says something like a thief and a liar are companions, something like that. Read on.
Be ye angry and sin not. Let not the sun go down upon your wrath. Neither give place to the devil. Let him that stole steal no more.
Read that again.
Let him that stole steal no more.
So the commandment, the 8th commandment is, thou shalt not steal. Take not that which belongeth to thy brother. All right. The commandment says in the book of Deuteronomy that if you go into thy neighbor's vineyard or into thy neighbor's field where the standing corn is, you can pluck the ears of the corn, even as Yahawashi and his disciples did on the Sabbath day. They did which was permitted. They plucked enough just to eat. He said, but take not the, what is it called? The Grim Reaper, he has the sickle. Thank you. Thank you. The sickle. Take not the sickle to the ears of corn. All right. So, and when you're thinking about the Sabbath, Yahawashi and his disciples plucked, the ears off the corn, and they ate that, but they didn't take a sickle, because if you would have took the sickle to the crop, that would be considered working. That would be transgressing the law. But then if you look at it from Deuteronomy and the aspect of stealing, if you are hungry and you go into your neighbor's field, his vineyard, whatever, you can take a couple grapes. You can pluck off a couple kernels, a couple ears if you need it. And your neighbors shouldn't have no nasty attitude. What you doing in my field? Get out of here, nigga. You know I'm trying to, make money off these crops. Now, if you're hungry, you're not supposed to reap the entire harvest anyway. Leave some for the poor. So if you go in there, you a little hungry, you can take a little bit. But it becomes wickedness. You start to infringe upon the generosity of thy neighbor. If you say, you ain't around, let me take some of this for myself. Let me take some of this and sell it. That's wicked. That's stealing. That's stealing. That's abusing the generosity of your neighbor and the goodwill of the Most High to prepare to establish a law of welfare for the poor. You're abusing it now, like our people abuse welfare. Okay? You're not supposed to steal from your brother. All right? So he that stole, let him steal no more. So you Gentiles, you Israelites who've been cut off and have not known the way of truth, have not known the way of righteousness. You were around these pagans and these wicked individuals, and you did whatever you felt you needed to do. What's the saying? Get along to get along. What's it called? What's the saying? Go along. Yeah, thank you. Go along to get along. Right? That's how our people feel nowadays. They feel they have to rob in order to get what they want because they're in poverty. But the commandment is, he that stole, let him steal no more. You got to put that away. All right? And some may try to justify themselves and say, well, the white man done stole for years, man. I'm just getting back just a little bit of what he stole. Look, we not called to steal, bruh. We not called to steal. Baruch says, suffer patiently the wrath of God. I understand that Esau is wicked. I understand that he has stolen what belongs to us. I understand that he has not compensated us for the labor, the cheap chattel slavery that he's placed us through. I know it seems enticing to want to take that which does not belong to you. We are not called to steal. If the Most High has not commissioned us to do that, we shouldn't be out here stealing. Right? We shouldn't be opportunists that when the Black Lives Matter protests are going on, we going downtown trying to loot. About to get me a free TV. About to get me some of them Jordans. And then guess what happened? Most of them people were caught on camera and the police officers were banging on their door and then they were placed in jail. Same thing with the Edomites that stormed the Capitol. They were stealing Nancy Pelosi's laptop and different files and artifacts and different things inside the Capitol building. FBI found out who it was and arrested them. Yes.
But I bet they're out.
Yeah, they're probably
the
out.
But the black people are still in there.
But the point being, for the children of Israel, the nations is wicked. They're going to do whatever they want to do. But as for us, we are not called to that. Mm-hmm. He that stole, let him steal no more. Okay? Let him steal no more. Read.
But rather, let him labor, working with his hands the thing which is good, that he may have to give to him that needeth. Shalakia.
So, Apostle Paul is saying, look, nigga, get up and work. Stop stealing. Stop being lazy. Stop being a thug. Stop being a nigga. And get up and get a job. And work hard with your hands. Increase your riches that way. Sustain an income that way. That you might be able one day to provide for someone who is less than. Someone who once was in your predicament. So that they don't have to steal. You can provide and impart something unto them. Stop stealing. Well, I'm just trying to get a little bit, man. You know, we've been in captivity for a long time, bro. I'm just trying to... No, we're not called to steal. The Most High is not going to bless your wickedness because you try to justify it in your own mind. There is a way that seemeth right unto man, but the end thereof is death. The Most High not going to grant peace unto you when you stealing, you lying, performing wickedness. He has not called us to do that. Think about the children of Israel in the time of Jeremiah, in the time of Isaiah, when the rise of the Babylonians came about, right? King Nebuchadnezzar. And the children of Israel were listening to the false prophets and trying to flee into Egypt or trying to protect themselves from the reign of King Nebuchadnezzar. And Jeremiah and the other prophets were saying, the righteous prophets, telling them, look, you better place your neck under his yoke, all right, and deal with this situation. You can't try to take matters into your own hands and try to pervert judgment to make your situation better. So although we are in captivity, although we are an impoverished people, we are not called to steal to try to make our situation better. Mm-hmm. Steal no more. Work hard. Work hard. Keep his commandments. The Most High will bless. As Sirach says, it's a small thing in the eyes of the Most High, paraphrasing. It's a small thing to on the how does it say? To make a poor man rich on the sudden. It's a small thing in the eyes of the Most High on the sudden to make a poor man rich. All right, so if you be faithful, you refrain from stealing and taking that which not belongs to you, not just stealing from your brother, but stealing in general, and work hard, the Most High will grant those things that your heart desires. Delight thyself in Yahweh, and he will give you the desires of thine heart. You don't got to steal for it. He'll provide it for you. All right? All right, so moving on to the 9th commandment, not to lie, not to bear false witness. We're going to go to Mark chapter 10, verse 19. Mark chapter 10, verse 19.
Mark chapter 10, verse 19. Thou knowest the commandments. Do not commit adultery. Do not kill. Do not steal. Do not bear false witness. Defraud not. Honor thy father and mother.
So here it doesn't just say steal. In this version of the same conversation with the rich ruler in the Gospel of Mark, Yahawashi doesn't say that, not to steal. He says defraud not. All right, defraud not. So giving it a slightly different definition, if you will, but still pertaining to the same type of thing, to be deceitful with your brother and what you say and how you respond to him. Taking something that doesn't belong to him, or, defrauding him, just being wicked with your actions in order to benefit off of your brother, to take something, to defraud him, to be deceitful, to make benefit off of his work. All right? I'm going to link that up with Leviticus chapter 19, verse 13. Leviticus 19 and 13. And it reads, thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. So when you think about stealing, usually it's your neighbor has something, you covet, you're envious of what he possesses, and then when his back is turned, you sneak in and steal it from him. Put this in my pocket. Yeah, this is mine right here. This is mine right here. No, but here in Leviticus, not just robbing him, but defrauding him. So now we're going to flip the situation a little bit. It's not you taking something from your neighbor that he has that you desire. Now it's failing to provide to your brother what is rightfully his, something you have that he desires, that he is entitled to. Now it's the other side of that situation. This brother worked for you. You agreed to pay him, all right, a certain amount for his hire, the contract, whatever the situation might be, right? And the time has come for you to pay him. And now you're trying to get out of paying him the full amount or paying him at all. Bro, you're just going to have to wait till next week. What? Yo, I got bills to pay. Man, I ain't got it. Lying, knowing you got it there, but you want to go to the casino. You trying to, buy some stuff yourself. So you thought if I could hold on to this 200 real quick, that'd be real nice to have just a little extra change. And then I'll reimburse him the next. No, don't do that. Sirach says that. If you have to pay that man, pay him right then. Don't wait. That's wicked. That's wicked. Or taking that man's coat for his pledge. Return it back to him at night because that's all he got, bruh. Don't be wicked like that. So Leviticus 19 and 13, thou shalt not defraud thy neighbor, neither rob him. The wages of him that is hired shall not abide with thee all night until the morning. Give it to him. Give unto him what is rightfully his. Don't wait on it. If you literally don't have it, then you don't have it. But if you do have it, give it to him. All right? Be not wicked with your brother. Defraud him not. So it's not just stealing. Oh, man, I wish I had that. And then he turn his back and you steal it from him. But it's also defrauding him and not giving to your brother what's rightfully his. Man, come back next week, man. I'm kind of busy right now, man. Can we handle this next time? Yo, man, you say you're going to pay me on Thursday. What's up, man? I need that. I was kind of counting on, bruh, I'm trying to, you breaking up right now. You breaking up right now. You know what I'm saying? That's wicked in the sight of the Most High. That's wicked in the sight of the Most High. Pay that man what you owe him. Defraud him not. All right? From there, let's go to 1 Thessalonians 4, 6 through 7. 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 6 through 7. There you go ahead.
Okay, 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verses 6 and 7. That no man go beyond and defraud his brother in any matter.
Salaki, you're seeing the same thing. This is Apostle Paul preaching to the church in Thessalonica, right? And he's quoting Leviticus. Quoting Leviticus. Leviticus said, defraud not thy neighbor, neither rob him. Give not that which belongs to your brother that you hired him for. Do not hold that in your house all night and wait till the morning. Give it to him the moment he show up at your house with his hand out and looking for that money. Looking for his paycheck. Bro, I don't know what to tell you. I got to sign some documents. I got to go to the post office. I got to go to the bank. Bro, it's right there in your office. Go grab that paycheck and put it in his hand and send him on his way in peace. That brother should not have to walk all the way up to your house looking to get paid, and you telling him to go home and come back tomorrow or come back next week. That's wicked as hell, man. That's wicked. Give it to him. You have it, give it to him. Read.
Did I finish reading the 6?
Just read it again. That
no man go beyond and defraud his brother in any matter, because that Yahweh is the avenger of all such.
Salakia, hold it right there. That is the reason why we're not supposed to steal or rob in general, period. Not just where it pertains to our brother, but if the Most High has not called us to steal or take something, in particular. Like when he sent Joshua or Moses out and destroyed all nations, there were some times when he said destroy everything. All right? Men, women, children, cattle, gold. I want it all destroyed. I don't want nothing taken. Then there were some times where kill the men, kill the women that been with men, but virgin women, young boys, cattle, sheep, flock, gold, silver, you keep that. You keep that. Put some of it in the treasury, and some of that you could divide up the spoil, and you can keep that. That type of quote-unquote stealing is permitted because the Most High has sanctified it and gave it to the children of Israel. But then there are other times Joshua said, take not of the accursed thing, lest ye be cursed. So we were called to go in and destroy, but don't touch that. That don't belong to you. If you take that, you're going to be cursed. Mm-hmm. Think about what Zechariah said, that the scroll, the flying scroll, come to destroy the man that stealeth. Not to steal to his brother, but that is deceitful and the defrauder, a thief. Even if you're stealing from the white man, the Most High did not call you to do that. If you stealing, the Most High going to judge you. He is the avenger. Read that verse again.
Because that Yahweh is the avenger of all such, as we also have forewarned you and testified.
For Yahweh. Salakia, talking about, the epistle to the church in Ephesus that we just brought out. Okay? That you defraud not your brother. He that steal, let him steal no more. That's what he's talking about. We already talked to y'all about this. We already were instructing you on not to steal and not to be deceitful and defraud your neighbor. Read.
Verse 7, for Yahweh hath not called us unto uncleanness, but unto holiness.
He has not called us unto uncleanness. He did not call us to go out and steal and loot and defraud. He didn't call us to do that. Well, brother, I just feel like, that's your emotion because you're walking in the flesh, bro. You're not walking in the spirit. He has not called us unto uncleanness, but unto holiness. You feel you got to come out of the spirit, be in the flesh and steal in order to justify yourself and get the things you need? Don't you know your Father in heaven know what you're in need of before you pray it? Mm-hmm. Why do you need to steal? He knows you're in need of food. He knows you're in need of raiment. He knows you're in need of shelter. He knows you're in need of money. He knows you're in need of a job. He knows what you're in need of. Look at the sparrows. Look at the lilies of the field. He provides for them. How much more you? You ain't got to steal nothing, man. Put your trust in the Father. Keep his commandments and he'll bless you. Don't worry about it. Like we brought out, it's nothing for the Most High on the sudden to make a poor man rich. It's nothing. That's peanuts to the Most High. But you don't, in your time of need and distress, steal, defraud your brother, do that which is wicked, do that which is unclean. The Most High not going to have no pleasure in you doing that. He has not called us unto uncleanness, but unto holiness. Yes. All right. Let's go to Romans chapter 13, verses 8 through 10. Romans chapter 13, verses 8 through 10. What?
It's just the way I wrote it. 13. Okay, Romans chapter 13, verses 8 through 10. Owe no man anything but to love one another. For he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law.
So it goes back to the same thing that was talked about in Ephesians and 1 Thessalonians. Not to defraud thy neighbor, not to steal or rob. And don't owe a man anything. Okay? Be honest. Be transparent. Be forthcoming. Okay? Your brother should not have to feel, I don't know if I can trust him. You know, when we talk, when we're together, we're laughing, we're joking, we have a good time. We can talk about the precepts. That's wonderful. But when it comes to serious matters like money, because Sirach talks about that. Many have lost friends over affairs dealing with finances. That's a very serious thing. And there shouldn't be any problem to where you have a brother in the faith, in the truth, that you lose, or that relationship becomes damaged because you owe that brother something, especially where finances are concerned. Read that scripture one more time, verse 8.
Owe no man anything but to love one another, for he that loveth another hath fulfilled the law.
So if you are forthcoming and you love your brother as you ought, okay, you're not looking to defraud him, whatever debt you may be indebted to your brother with, you'll have the mind to repay him. Okay? You'll be honest and righteous and upright with your dealings as unto the Most High, because you know you're not simply just doing it unto your brother, you're doing it that the Most High Father might be pleased in your doings. Okay, read on.
Verse 9. For this, thou shalt not commit adultery.
What?
Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness.
Hold up. You mean to tell me Apostle Paul is quoting the 10 Commandments, the law of Moses, right here in the book of Romans? Mm-hmm. Are you kidding me? Read 9 one more time.
For this, thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not kill. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Thou shalt not covet. And if there be any other commandment, it is briefly comprehended in this saying, namely, thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
The same thing Yahawashi taught. Well, Christians would say, he didn't mention the Sabbath. Well, he didn't mention putting no graven image before the Most High God either. Is that permitted? Can we make a statue of Dagon and worship it and serve it and still say that we serve the Most High? Paul didn't say that here. Okay, again, the reason why Yahawashi and the apostles are bringing out these particular commandments, and he said any other commandment can be summed up in this. So he's not leaving it out. He's just consolidating, if you will. He's consolidating the commandment. Remember what James, I believe it's James, in Acts 15. Place no other burden on them, but that in every city, Moses is preached in the synagogue every Sabbath. Let them go to the synagogue and learn. We just gonna give them the big points of Christ. The big points. Abstain from these things. Christ came, he died, resurrected, provided atonement for us. Keep the commandments. Keep these right here. Focus on these right here. And then every Sabbath, go to the synagogue and learn all the precepts. Go from just drinking milk to eating meat. Okay?
Verse 10.
Yep, go on.
Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law. So
if you have this mentality, you're going to be in alignment to keep all the commandments of God. Not just this false humility or false self-righteousness where you say you love the Most High and hate your brother and walk contrary to your brother. But if you truly love your brother, you're going to demonstrate true love to the Most High, and you're going to start to walk in the ways of keeping the commandments, all of the commandments. This was the chief point of emphasis of Christ returning to the earth, or coming to the earth, I would say. Coming to the earth to teach the children of Israel how to love one another. That's something we failed to do. That's something we failed to do. We are failing even now as a people. We need him. Okay? All right. So now we're going to deal with the last commandment, that we should not covet. Now, the thing with the 10th commandment, and thou shalt not covet, it's unique in the fact that all of the other 9 commandments of the 10 commandments deal with actions. Okay, actions you perform towards the Most High and showing reverence and worship to him, or actions you shouldn't perform so that you remain in a place of righteousness. But the 10th commandment isn't an action that you perform, but it deals more with your mind, with your spirit, with your heart. Things that ought to be maintained or things that ought to be monitored that evil deeds aren't done in your members. Okay? You don't covet with your members. You covet with the inward man. And once that sin is finished, it becomes death. So once that lust or whatever that is inside of you becomes full grown, it becomes sin. So thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not bear false witness. These are actions that you perform. Don't do these things. Thou shalt not covet. That is the embryonic stages of sin. Thou shalt not covet. That's well before you actually perform something with your members. That dwells in your mind, in your heart, in your spirit, well before any action is ever completed. If you get what I'm saying, that's what makes this last one so unique. So when Yahawashi came and was saying, hey, if you look upon a woman to lust after her, you committed adultery already in your heart towards her. Thou should not covet already covered that aspect. You got to deal with your heart, deal with your mind. Thou shalt not covet. Thou shalt not covet other gods. Thou shalt not covet other practices. All right, the scriptures say that we are not to envy the heathen, envy the oppressor, and do none of his ways, the scripture says. That's coveting. So this is a really deep precept which deals with every facet of our being and how we ought to walk upright and to abstain from all evil. In the inward man first, before it ever comes to performing some wicked deed with our members. Thou shalt not covet. You need to deal with your mind and with your heart. Get your mind right. That's what thou shalt not covet really deals with. Getting your mind right. Because if you can perfect this commandment, you will be able to refrain from doing these other things. Okay? So let's go to Luke chapter 16, verses 13 through 15. Got a few passages in Luke. Luke chapter 16, verses 13 through 15.
No servant can serve two masters, for either he will hate the one and love the other, or else he will hold to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve Yahweh and Mammon. Okay.
So just like I said, when you covet, we understand that the law says not to covet thy neighbor's wife or his ass or his maidservant or anything like that. But you can covet something that is against the Most High. You can covet another god. Covet, these wicked practices. Well, that's kind of cool. I like that. Let me try that. You can't serve two masters. So when the precept is telling you thou shalt not covet, you need to check your spirit. There shouldn't be anything that's causing you to yearn and desire something that is outside of what the Most High said we are to desire. Lusting for something in this life, in this world. Okay? Because all that is in the world is the lust of the eye, the lust of the flesh, and the pride of life. These things are not of the Father. And if a man is filled with covetousness, then he will yearn after these things to his own destruction. Read.
Verse 14. And the Pharisees also, who were covetous. They were covetous, meaning they desired these things. They desired riches, because that's what Yahawashi is talking about. You can't serve the Most High and want to get the bag as well. You can't put the bag, loving the Most High is number one. I put him number one, but getting the bag is like 1B, 1A. It's like right there. No. Yahawashi said you can't do that, bro. If you love the Most High, he gonna be number one. Getting the bag shouldn't be even on your radar, because you're too consumed with doing the will of the Most High. Read. And the Pharisees also, who were covetous, heard all these things, and they derided him. And he said unto them, Ye are they which justify yourselves before men, but Yahweh knoweth your hearts. For that which is highly esteemed among men is abomination in the sight of Yahweh.
So these men knew, they were pricked in their heart and they derided him, meaning they were clowning him. They were trying to throw people off the scent. Yahawashi wasn't moved by that. Yeah, you can try to clown me all you want to. You know I'm telling you the truth. The Most High see your heart. You can't front. I know what's going on. All right? You covetous. Gonna go to Luke chapter 5, verses 21 and 22. Luke 5, 21 and 22. And the scribes and the Pharisees began to reason, saying, Who is this which speaketh blasphemies? Who can forgive sins but God alone? But when Yahawashi perceived their thoughts, he answering said unto them, What reason ye in your hearts? Okay, so that's just speaking to the point there that you just read, that he was able to read their thoughts, able to understand what they were thinking, because they didn't mention anything. They derided him and tried to play it off like, man, you tripping, you don't know what you talking about. They derided him and tried to say, look, he poor, he ain't got no college degree. You know, we the teachers of the people. We're the Pharisees, we're the scribes, we're intelligent, we're articulate, we're accomplished, we're accredited. Yeah, that's better. All right? But he could perceive their thoughts. You know you got pricked. You know you got cut with the precept. The Most High see what you're doing. These things can't be hid. All right? Now I'm going to go to Luke chapter 21, verses 34 and 35. I'm going to read it. Let's get through this quick. Luke chapter 21, verses 34 and 35. And take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting and drunkenness and cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. So this is the covetousness, the same thing that he was blasting the Pharisees and scribes about, because they had a covetous spirit. They loved riches. They loved, to try to get the bag, making money, doing things to be seen of men. Yahawashi is now warning the sincere elect, the disciples, take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your heart be overcharged with surfeiting. Remember, the 10th commandment is unique in that it's teaching you to monitor and examine your heart, examine your spirit. That's what this 10th commandment is designed to do. Get you to look at yourself. Before you commit any deed, look at yourself. Be not covetous. Be not envious. Do not lust for these things. Yahawashi is bringing it out. Lest at any time your hearts be overcharged with surfeiting, covetousness, and drunkenness in the cares of this life, and so that day come upon you unawares. 35. For as a snare shall it come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. Okay? When Yahawashi come back, the wicked of Israel, and of course outside, they're going to be filled with covetousness, this very thing, and it's going to be a snare unto them. That's why the scriptures say, and at that time the tribes of the earth shall mourn. They shall mourn because they know it's over. It's over. All right, now Luke chapter 12, verses 13 through 15. Luke chapter 12, verses 13 through 15. And one of the company said unto him, Master, speak to my brother, that he divide the inheritance with me. Okay? Again, we just read in chapter 21, saying to the disciples, take heed unto yourselves, that you be not overcharged with surfeiting, meaning the dainties of life, the luxuries, the opulence, wanting after these things. I know this is one of the traumatic things that has befallen our people. Part of that curse of Deuteronomy on our people. We have been subjugated and impoverished for so long. When we get just a little bit of money, we go buck wild. And we become overcharged with surfeiting. But Yahawashi said, take heed unto yourselves. The cares of this life, you get overcharged. You want covetousness, you want money. Scratch offs and going to the casino, doing whatever you can, working overtime, breaking the Sabbath just to get some money that will soon perish. Be very careful. Take heed unto yourself, lest the end come and you be caught off guard and it be a snare unto you. You can't serve the Most High and mammon because you're going to love one and hate the other. All right, so let's go here back to Luke 12. And he said unto them, I'm sorry, that's not it. Where am I at? 14. No, 13. That's what we're doing. 13 to 15. And one of the company said unto him, Master, speak to my brother that he divide the inheritance with me. So he probably was the younger brother because the eldest brother is supposed to get the chief inheritance from their father. And so the brother probably took it all and didn't want to give any to his younger brother. And now this young man is coming to Yahawashi and trying to get him to come in between their affairs. Master, can you tell him to give me some of the inheritance? I want some of that. I want some of that land. I want some of that money Dad left us. This is what Yahawashi says. Verse 14. And he said unto him, Man, who made me a judge or divider over you? I ain't got nothing to do with that. Now he could have, if he wanted to, judged the matter righteously. But he said, I'm not here to do that. I'm not here to do. Don't be trying to, bring civil suits before. I'm not here to do all that. Because again, the commandment, the 10th commandment is thou shalt not covet. Okay? We understand the other scriptures, defraud not thy neighbor, thou shalt not steal. That elder brother should have enough compassion and thoughtfulness for his brother and give that man what belongs to him. But this is the challenge that Yahawashi is putting on this younger brother. Even if your brother is wicked and doesn't give you what you desire, thou shalt not covet. Walk upright. Keep these commandments. You can't control what your brother gonna do or not do. And I'm not gonna walk up in the house, grab him by the neck. Nigga, give your brother. I'm not called to do that right now, man. But I challenge you. Even as he challenged the rich ruler. Yahawashi, I've been doing that since my youth. I've been keeping all these commandments. What more I got to do? Okay. All right. If you really want to be perfect, do this. Sell everything you have, give it to the poor, then come follow me. I'll get back to you. I'll get back to you. Okay. And he walked on down the street. You think he coming back? Nah, he ain't coming back. So the same challenge he's given to this younger brother. Yahawashi, can you go and knock my brother upside the head and tell him to give me my inheritance? I'm not called to do that. I do challenge you to do this. Don't even concern yourself with it. What? Dad left him $100,000. He's supposed to get 60. I get 40. I need that. Don't worry about it. There are treasures in heaven if you keep these commandments. Yeah, I hear you, but that's 40 grand. That's 40 grand, Yahawashi. Yeah, just keep these commandments though. Let's read on. And he said unto him, Man, who made me a judge or divider over you? 15. And he said unto them, Take heed and beware of covetousness. For a man's life consisteth not in the abundance of the things which he possesseth. That must have really pricked to the flesh of not only him, but anyone else who had a bit of that covetousness in their heart. So you mean to tell me I shouldn't be concerned about it? No, you shouldn't be overly concerned because you got more important things to worry about. Keeping the commandments and preparing yourself for the return. That money gonna fail, man. That money gonna fail. What profit is it for you to lose your brother sitting up fighting with him over some money? You want me to step in, take a stick, and bash your brother upside the head and tell him to give you the 40 G's. I'm not called to do that. I'm not called to do that. Why don't you rather deal with that covetousness in your spirit? But it's 40 G's, man. You mean just not think about it? Yeah. Focus on keeping these commandments. Focus on doing the will of the Most High. Even as the rich ruler, when he walked away, and Yahawashi said to his disciples, There isn't any here that hasn't given up parents or spouse or children or house and land or any of that, who shall not receive 10, 20, 100-fold in this life. That's what he said. Matter of fact, let me grab it. I'm going to read it. Let's look for this real quick. Where is it at? Okay, let's go to Matthew. Matthew 19. Okay, Matthew 19 verses 29 and 30. And everyone that hath forsaken houses, or brethren, or sisters, or father, or mother, or wife, or children, or lands, for my name's sake, shall receive 100-fold, and shall inherit everlasting life. But many that are first shall be last, and the last shall be first. Okay? So there's great riches that you shall receive if you sacrifice in this life. Don't be concerned with that. You want me to go beat up your brother and physically tell him to give you the money? I'm not doing that, man. Rather, why don't you focus on keeping these commandments? That's what you need to put your mind on. Doing that. All right, Gail, I'll have you go to 1 Timothy chapter 6, verse 6 through 11. 1 Timothy chapter 6, verses 6 through 11.
Okay. 1 Timothy chapter 6, 6 through 11. But godliness with contentment is great gain. For we brought nothing into this world, and it is certain we can carry nothing out. And having food and raiment, let us be therewith content. But they that will be rich fall into temptation and a snare, and into many foolish and hurtful lusts, which drown men in destruction and perdition.
So like it. Verse 6 says, but godliness with contentment is great gain. This was what Yahawashi was trying to teach that young man. He wanted them 40 G's. He wanted it real bad. And I'll be honest with you. I know most of us, if our father left us an inheritance and we know we got something coming, we would be really angry with our older sibling if they failed to give us what is rightfully ours. We're going to want to go to blows with them. That ain't all yours. That's going to make us upset. But we got to put our mind on heavenly things, man. You're going to lose salvation over fighting over our brother, and you know what I'm saying? That's not worth it. It's not worth it. Okay? So, but godliness with contentment is great gain. So if you can keep these commandments and be content, the Most High going to deal with him. Who knows? The Most High may deal with his spirit, and then maybe in 6 months or a year, he might say, bruh, it wasn't right for me to keep this money. Here you go. Oh, man, I really appreciate that. Thank you. Or the Most High might bless you to get a lump sum from somewhere else. Or maybe you get nothing. But you got treasures in heaven, which is incredible. Invaluable. You can't put a dollar amount on the riches in heaven for doing his will. All right? But if you running after riches, you're going to fall into a snare. Read.
Verse 10. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which while some coveted after. That is the 10th commandment. Thou shalt not covet. Okay? So you can covet where women are concerned and lead to adultery. You can covet where the Most High is concerned and lead to idolatry. You can covet where money is concerned and lead to financial covetousness. This is a really deep precept that we all have to master. If not, we can fall into divers lusts, fall into a snare
because we want money so bad. Yes, I know we've been poor. Yes, I know your car is broke down or you may not have a car. I know you sick of living with your relatives. I know you want better for yourself. I know you sick of that dead-end 9-to-5 job and you want a quick out. But look, you can't fall into covetousness, chasing the bag, chasing riches, chasing money. Read to 11 as well.
Which while some coveted after, they have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows.
You're going to fall out the faith if you keep running after these riches, man. Because it's going to blind you. And you're going to stumble and fall into a ditch. And you might not be able to come up out of that. Read.
But thou, O man of Yahweh, flee these things and follow after righteousness, godliness, faith, love, patience, meekness.
This is what Yahawashi was trying to teach that young man. Don't concern yourself with that. I know. 40 G's is a lot of money. I know you could have did a little something with that. But focus on keeping the commandments. Because you're going to get blessed 100-fold. 100-fold, man. Last scripture. Hebrews, what is that? Is that 13? Hebrews 13 and 5? Let me see what that is. I think that's what I put down. I think it's Hebrews. Yeah, that's it. Go ahead.
Hebrews 13 and 5.
Yep.
Let your conversation be without covetousness, and be content with such things as ye have. For he hath said, I will never leave thee, nor forsake thee.
That's the promise right there, man. That's the promise, especially where financial covetousness is concerned. So to that young man who was looking to get the bag, looking to get the inheritance, and his brother was wicked and withheld it from him, that brother going to be judged. He going to be dealt with. But Yahawashi wasn't going to come up in the house with a bat, you know what I'm saying, and break his legs because he didn't give his younger brother, because his younger brother's a disciple and the older brother is not. He wasn't going to break his legs. I'm challenging you to put covetousness out of your heart and trust in the Most High and keep these commandments. Because now, through doing that, if you truly be sincere, you are storing up riches in your heavenly bank account. All right? In verse 5, let your conversation be without covetousness. This is what Yahawashi discerned in the response this young man gave. Don't worry yourself about that, man. Don't worry about that at all. And be content with such things as ye have. In Timothy, it says, godliness with contentment is great gain. It truly is, because when you're able to have contentment in your spirit, it gives you peace of mind. Godliness with content. I will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on me because he trusteth in me. You're keeping the commandments. You're trusting in him. You're resting in that. You're having contentment. Nothing can sway you. Nothing can move you. You're rested in the presence of the Most High. Whether you're doing good and he's blessed you immensely, and you still have a state of humility in all of the blessings the Most High has granted unto you, or whether, it ain't looking too good, but nevertheless, you still acknowledge the Most High, you still going to remain content. I live in a hole in the wall with rats running around and very little food, and there's a hole in the roof and it rains. It don't matter. I'm content. This is what I got. This is the Most High provided for me. I'm going to enjoy it. Okay, we got to learn to have that. And be content with such things as ye have, for he hath said, I will never leave thee nor forsake thee. That is the promise. Okay? But to sum it all up, the 10 Commandments were taught by Yahawashi, were taught by the apostles. Okay, where was it? We were just reading. It was Romans 13. Apostle Paul was laying out the commandments right there in Romans 13. So we are to keep the commandment of God. Shalom, family.